Fever just made another big move in WNBA free agency, but wait, I thought no one wanted to play in Indiana.
The WNBA is in a frenzy after Caitlyn Clark released the most bizarre video to date. She was a bucket, as we already knew. Her range was previously known to us. However, this updated Clark, more deadly, quicker, and stronger than before. She's dominating opponents on both ends of the court, accepting contact, and powering through defenders in addition to just pulling up from 30 feet. What has changed then? What was Caitlyn Clark's transformation from a sharpshooter to a powerful force? Let's dissect everything. You must stay locked in to witness this. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel before we get started. You'll always be up to date on the most recent WNBA news, analysis on significant developments like these if you join our team. Don't miss it. We've covered every possible scenario. Click like, subscribe, and let's get started. Let's now discuss how Caitlyn Clark has advanced to a new level in all area of her game, not only in talent. Although Caitlyn Clark has always had exceptional potential, she is now excelling at a level no one could have predicted. Because Clark is not only improving her skills, but also becoming a dominant force and changing the rules as she goes, the WNBA is officially on high alert. Opponents have every right to be concerned as recent video shows a more powerful and combative Caitlyn Clark. If you previously believed she was an issue, reconsider. She is more explosive, harder, and quicker than ever. She is becoming into a full-fledged player now, not simply a shooter. We've never seen Clark's off-season efforts pay off so well. From a lethal sniper to an unstoppable force on both ends of the floor, we're talking about a complete metamorphosis. She is no longer only a shooter in your mind. She is controlling the tempo, overwhelming defenders, and making the match a misery for everyone who stands in her way. Let's face it, who anticipated this? She was unique, as we all knew. But this is dominance on a whole other level. The league is rocked by Caitlyn Clark 2.0. Nobody anticipated this rate of expansion so rapidly. The opposing coaches are frantically coming up with fresh game strategies. Defenders are coming to the realization that they can no longer just push her about. She's changing, growing, and shattering the stereotype in ways that only the best of all time could. What then is driving this enormous evolution? What made Caitlyn Clark go from a top scorer to a versatile wrecking ball? Let's dissect it. What is the difference then? What transformed Caitlyn Clark from a standout athlete to an all-out powerhouse? Let's take a moment to go back and examine it in detail. Already a top scorer, Caitlyn Clark ran the offense like a seasoned veteran, drained long threes with ease, and dropped dimes that befuddled defenses. She was one of the most thrilling players in the game because of her talent, self-assurance, and fierce competitiveness. The problem is that despite her greatness, physique was a significant obstacle. The WNBA is a very different arena of competition than college. Defenders are more skilled, quicker, and stronger. They are skilled at upsetting a player's flow, becoming violent without getting called, and making things tough for even the best rookies. Critics initially questioned Clark's ability to cope with the brutality of the sport. Would she be another collegiate standout who found it difficult to fit in? When opponents began bodying her up, pushing her off her places, and making every possession a struggle, could she still be the dominant player? When her typical techniques weren't enough to defeat seasoned experts, could she still perform at her best? When Clark heard the commotion, she responded as best she could. In addition to recognizing the issue, she tackled it head-on with the same tenacity that had made her a top contender. She stepped back, examined her own performance, and determined what needed work. She decided to focus on developing into a full-fledged, well-rounded player rather than only depending on her innate shooting skill. This required dedicating oneself to a demanding off-season training regimen that encompassed more than simply basketball abilities. She focused on building muscle, endurance, and the fortitude necessary to battle through contact in order to prepare her body for the physical demands of the WNBA. To be clear, this wasn't only a change in her approach. The metamorphosis was complete. She wasn't only completing a couple of extra exercises or lifting a few weights. She was completely revamping her strategy to ensure that she could win every game round, regardless of how difficult the opposition grew. However, strength training was just one component. What other actions did Clark take to elevate her performance? Next, let's explore it. You must be having a great time watching the video if you've made it this far, so why not press that follow button for a moment? It's really easy to use, completely free, and helps us continue to provide you with more amazing content, especially if you're a WNBA fan. We can provide you with player spotlights, game highlights, or behind-the-scenes footage. Additionally, you won't miss a beat when it comes to your favorite players and teams if you follow. Now go ahead and touch that follow. Okay, let's get back into it. Let's go on to the true game changer, her crazy strength training routine, which made her a formidable force. Although she worked on her handling and shot throughout this offseason, it wasn't the only thing she did. No, the goal was to develop a physique that could withstand the most formidable defenders in the league. A new level of competitiveness exists in the WNBA, where tenacity, stamina, and strength are just as crucial as skill. You won't even be able to dominate if you can't withstand the physicality. Knowing this, Clark reorganized her training program entirely. She went all out, treating her body as though it were a machine that needed to be rebuilt for battle, rather than merely performing the routine exercises. Her exercises were not to be taken lightly. They were hard, demanding, and intended to challenge her to the utmost. She worked hard in the weight room, focusing on 3 key areas: lower body strength, because explosive drives, deep threes, and quick first steps all require an extremely strong foundation; upper body muscle, because WNBA defenders don't just let you waltz into the lane. They bump, shove, and make you earn every basket; and core stability, because a strong core isn't just about looking good. It's about maintaining balance through contact, absorbing hits, and staying upright when defenders.
This signing of all of the moves that the Fever have made during this free agency season.
Path. In addition, she concentrated on explosiveness training. Clark knew she needed to get faster because speed kills in the WNBA. Flexibility and injury prevention, because staying healthy is just as important as getting stronger, and endurance and agility, because the best players don't just dominate for one quarter, they sustain their performance for an entire game. Through the use of weightlifting, resistance training, and explosive drills, Clark has dramatically changed the way her body looks. She is now making contact rather than merely avoiding it. The force of a player who is not just skillful, but also physically dominating is now being felt by defenders who earlier attempted to push her about. What's the best part? This is only the start. What does her real game stand to gain from all this new strength, though? Let's examine the effects of her training on the court. Okay, so what does all of this additional strength mean on the court? You can feel the difference every time she sets foot on the floor, and it's not just something you can see. She might have been pushed off her place while driving to the hoop in the past. She is now easily completing at the rim while absorbing the hit and maintaining her balance. Defenders are now bouncing off of her instead of pushing her around. Rather of responding to the contact, she is making it. She used to be mostly a long-range sniper. She has now upped her game inside. She is creating space with her improved footwork, scoring goals in the paint with efficiency, and backing down lesser defenders. In the past, teams would put pressure on her, resulting in difficult shots. Her better first stride and enhanced explosiveness are now allowing her to blow past them. Off the dribble, she's quicker and more dangerous than ever. On defense, she is also far more active. She's returning to defense, running the break, and setting up teammates. She is becoming an even more formidable force in key situations because to her increased endurance, she can thread the needle in transition and hit accurate cross-court dimes without hesitation because of her improved upper body strength, which gives her passes even more zip. Her metamorphosis is now more about mindset than technique. It has to do with resiliency. It's about demonstrating that she belongs as a dominant force influencing the league's future in addition to being a fantastic player. There is no denying the effect of her efforts, which are paying off in unexpected ways. Caitlyn Clark is transforming the WNBA, not simply playing in it. And this is only the start. What a change, I must say. The league is taking notice of Caitlyn Clark's demonstration that she is no longer merely a shooter, but a full-fledged menace. Imagine what will happen if she continues to level up in this manner. This is just the beginning. You must have enjoyed the video though if you've read this far. To ensure you don't miss a second of the action, please quickly do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe. More WNBA material is on the way, including in-depth player analyses and moments that changed the course of games. Leave a remark below. How do you feel about the development of Caitlyn Clark? Is she headed to become the league's most dominant player? Let's discuss it. Okay, that concludes this one. I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the future video.